Welcome back. Still tuned in to News and Views. The time is 8:45, only 15 minutes before the top of the hour. It's a grey, cold, and rainy morning here in Johannesburg, and fittingly, the news across the globe feels just as heavy. The biggest headline this morning comes from South Asia, where tragedy has struck in the Himalayan valley of Kashmir. A brutal attack in Pahalgam has left 26 people dead, most of them tourists, in what is now being called one of the worst civilian massacres in the region since the Mumbai attacks of 2008. The Indian government has swiftly responded by sealing a major land border with Pakistan, suspending long-standing Indus Water Treaty, and revoking visa exemptions for Pakistani nationals. And at the center of the spiraling crisis in Kashmir, long disputed, long suffering, to help us understand the on-the-ground sentiment and to some extent the political fallout and just the deeper historical roots of this moment. We are joined by Nazir Ganaie, a head journalist at the Kashmir Observer, and he's coming to us live on the ground, and he's going to be giving us the latest on this front. Nazir, always a pleasure having you, and thank you so much for being our eyes and ears on the ground in Kashmir. Really, really appreciated, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Salilo. Thank you so much. And it's an hour of grief for the entire for the entire India and for the entire Jammu and Kashmir. People are in grief. People are mourning the innocent lives that we lost in Pahalgam massacre, and this is the worst attack that has happened in last 3 decades, and people are really in shock to mourn this this incident.
Mm, 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 mm. Um, there's a group that has come out. They are calling themselves Kashmir Resistance. They've claimed responsibility of this attack. They're citing demographic change as justification for it. Can you give us a bit more background on this? Is this a credible source that they are the ones that did this? What's this group all about? Are they new? Have they always been operating in this space? What can you tell us about them?
Salilo, before getting into the political discourse of the incident, uh, this massacre has left people in deep shock, and this is a highly condemnable act. Whosoever has done it, and since post 2019, after the abrogation of Article 370, and when the erstwhile state was downgraded to the Union Territory,
Mm,
and people of Jammu and Kashmir were deprived of the elections and their own government. But this is the first incident that has sent shocks to the to the entire country, to the entire nation, and Home Minister Amit Shah and the entire machinery is on the ground to assess the situation. But post 2019, when Article 370 was abrogated, a lot of groups have now started regaining strength to actually respond to the situation. And this the incident has been allegedly claimed. This has been claimed by the TRF, which is an offshoot group of Lashkar-e Toiba, an outfit based out of Pakistan. So that's why the Indian nation has responded swiftly to the Pakistan, and we can see there's a lot of measures have been taken, and Indus Water Treaty has been suspended, and Wagah Dari border has been also closed off, which was a historical engagement between the two nations, and a lot of other engagements have been also called off, and a lot of fear is in the air in Kashmir. Tourists are moving out. These groups, but this is the first incident which has actually uh, binded people on the ground, and people from all walks of life, from all religion, from all castes and creed, they have come on the same table to condemn this act. When tourists, unarmed tourists
mm,
who had come to enjoy the meadows and the mountains and the valleys, they were given the worst treatment. They were gunned down on that soil, which is also known as the mini Switzerland, the Baisaran. So this is something that has actually made lives of people who, I mean Kashmiris here, really miserable. Now the fallout of this incident is that we have been witnessing, we have been hearing, you know, disturbing, statements and news is coming from the other states of India, where Indian this Kashmiri Muslim students are being threatened. So this is a fallout. This is another biggest challenge for the Home Ministry that they have to tackle. A lot of incidents, a lot of groups, Hindutva groups have also issued statements. So this is another concern for the nation right now. And while this is being dealt, the things are worsening in other states also.
I want to come back to that very very important point that you're making. The diplomatic ties that we are seeing as de-escalating essentially. You mentioned India has closed borders, land borders with Pakistan. They've suspended the Indus Water Treaty, which was a very very historic agreement between the two countries. Are we still going to see a lot more downgrading of diplomatic ties? Are we going to see relations between India and Pakistan worsening more as time goes by?
Salina, this is a situation where Prime Minister was on an official tour to Jeddah, and Finance Minister was in US, and they have cut short their official visits and come back to the country, and they are very keenly monitoring the situation in Kashmir. And right now the situation tells us that it's going to worsen from here on. While the diplomatic ties have been suspended, people are actually speculating that more could happen, and government of India, led by Prime Minister Modi, will take swift actions, to respond to this situation. While as we have not seen, as observers on the ground, we have not seen any major statements coming from the Pakistani side. So that is yet to be seen. And on the ground, we have seen people coming together, providing free of cost, transport services, the hotel services to tourists. But majorly, we have seen travel companies and travel associations condemning this act, and the registrations and the bookings have gone down tremendously. The tourism is over, and post 2019, government of India used to claim that normalcy has returned on the ground, but at the same time, uh, the prism of normalcy was also seen through the number of tourists on the ground.
Mm,
That has
mm,
actually given a biggest blow to the government of India's post 2019 incident in Kashmir. And post 2019, we had also seen you know decrease of stone pelting incidents on the ground. We had seen less deaths on the streets. We had also seen no stone pelting happening on the ground, and that would result that no youngsters were getting killed on the streets. But this unfortunate incident has given a different dimension to the whole situation, and people are really sad to see this situation slipping back to worse.
no, definitely. I would like to focus on that tourism aspect. I think it's a very, very important one. Tourism has been one of Kashmir's economic lifelines, and with this attack happening in what I think is a very, very beautiful area, the Pahalgam area. It's picturesque. It's beautiful. Is just stress how important that area is to the people of Kashmir, and economically how viable it is, and what kind of impact is expected on the local economy, with regards to employment. You've already mentioned that bookings are going down. Is this going to affect the people of Kashmir quite heavily?
See, if you look at Jammu and Kashmir is a landlocked state. It's a place which is landlocked. It's a mountainous region, and on one side of it, there's a New Delhi which supplies most of the goods to this country, and this is a region which is mostly dominant on the agriculture, horticulture, and tourism. Tourism is also considered as the backbone of economy to this place, and these kind of incidents have always happened in Kashmir, but the killing tourists who are just on the visit to this place, where they are being treated as guests. And Kashmir is also known for its hospitality, and this has given a different dimension. And this is not just a shock to the to the nation, but to the people of this region who are not coming to the terms that how unarmed tourists could be killed, and how can people justify this as a some sort of jihad, or some sort of some sort of resistance movement. So this is something that is being taken very seriously by the people on the ground.
What is the sentiment in Kashmir towards both India and Pakistan right now? Do ordinary Kashmiris feel represented or betrayed by either side?
See, people of Jammu and Kashmir have, from all walks of life, have come out on the streets, and they have condemned this. Kashmir immediately, all the leaders, in fact, the Mirwais of Jammu and Kashmir, Umar Farooq, who is also the chairman of one of the factions of Hurriyat Conference, which is a separatist resistance group, they have also issued a band call, a shutdown call for the entire for the entire Kashmir, and all the trade bodies, all the all the travel bodies, they issued hoteliers, they issued a band call, and immediately after the incident, Kashmir witnessed band, schools were shut. So that was as a mark of respect for the people who lost their lives in this massacre, in this in this incident. But at the same time, a local rider was also killed because he was actually managing to save these tourists from the hands of these suspected militants. And at the same time, one of the Muslim families from Bangalore also got killed. A narrative was being built that it was just a Hindu, Hindus were just identified on the ground, and they got killed, which you could make out while you see witness these videos. But at the same
Mm.
time, a horse rider, a Muslim who happens to be a Muslim family from Bangalore, also got killed. But unfortunately, a narrative is being built in the Indian newsrooms that it was all against the Hindus. People who do these kind of incidents, they don't have any religion. They don't belong to any religion. So it's a sort of people of Kashmir see it as a game plan against the against the Kashmiris, against the Muslims, particularly against the Muslims of Kashmir. So they condemn this act. We unanimously, univocally condemn this act. We are not with this violence. Violence has no place in Kashmir, and violence is not something that's going to win the entire Jammu and Kashmir here.
And just in closing, Nazir, what should the people of the world now look forward to regarding this issue, this tragedy? What's maybe the latest that could possibly come out as the days progresses? Reactions from both the Pakistani and Indian governments. Is there something that might come out that we might need to know?
See, I think post 1989, ever since this whole political dispute had actually started, we have seen such kind of incidents happening on the ground. But life resumes after every grenade, after every bomb blast. Life resumes to the normal, and there's a normal news story that's being done after every incident. Life resumes to the normalcy of, or life back to normal. But but there is always an impact, there is always a psychological impact to the on the people of on the minds of the people in Kashmir. People feel sick right now when they see these dead bodies on the ground in these meadows. People are actually frightened, people are actually furious to witness this kind of incident. This definitely leaves a greater impact on their psyche. But at the same time, we have to, the story is still unfolding. What is going to be with India and Pakistan as far as the diplomatic ties are concerned, and what next after the suspension of diplomatic ties? What next? Maybe both the countries could get engaged into something else also. So that we have to see as observers on the ground.
All right, we're going to leave it here for now, Nazir. Thank you so much for always
Thank
availing
you.
yourself and being our eyes and ears on the ground in Kashmir. And as the story develops, we'll definitely be catching up with you a bit more.
Thank you.
There you go, Nazir Ganaie coming to us live from Kashmir. And yeah, really, really devastating and sad news coming out of that situation. I mean, the situation in Kashmir, I think, remains one of the most complex and deeply contested issues in the world today. A region with history, politics, and human rights intersecting in ways that have always and still demand global attention and dialogue. And while perspectives on Kashmiri, um, I think they vary widely. What remains undeniable is the suffering of his people who are caught in decades and decades of conflict and geopolitical tensions. And whether the path forward lies in diplomacy, greater autonomy, or international mediation, one thing is clear: lasting peace can only be built through justice, dialogue, and a commitment to human dignity. Until then, Kashmir's story is one that the world cannot afford to ignore. And yeah, I think really, really sad state of affairs. I mean, so many people losing their lives just for going out, to a very, very beautiful region. I think if you don't know about that region in Kashmir, it's called the Pahalgam. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. The Pahalgam area. Picturesque, mountainous, beautiful, natural kind of scenery, and you wouldn't expect something so tragic to be happening there. And yeah, it's really, really difficult. And yeah, finally, thank you to Nazir there. I think there's been a lot of clampdown when it comes to some of the civil liberties and journalism freedom in Kashmir, especially post 2019. And it's incredible that he's still able to be our eyes and ears and be our reporter live out of Kashmir, where the situation is really bad. Journalists are being abused, journalists are being arrested, journalists are being executed, and yeah, if it wasn't for people like Nazir, we would be blind, essentially, to what's happening in Kashmir. So yeah, I think a very, very important story, a developing story, and one that needs a close attention. But yeah, the breaking news there is the Indian government has swiftly responded to this terror attack, essentially. I think we can call it that by now. A terror attack by sealing land borders with Pakistan, suspending long-standing Indus Water Treaty. So it's a very historic treaty between the two countries, and it was about, it's almost similar to the Lesotho South African Highlands water agreement that we have, and that has been suspended, and they've also revoked visa exemptions for Pakistani nationals. And I think this is just the beginning. It almost feels like the diplomatic tensions between Pakistan and India are only going to get worse, especially after this tragedy. So yeah, very, very important story to look out for. You can keep your eyes and ears glued to Salam Media screens, because we'll definitely be giving you the latest when it comes to the developments in that part of the country. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues after this.